Hey there folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another knife-related video. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Protech Malibu. Now, as I mentioned in my unboxing video, this is my first Protech knife. Protech is primarily known for autos, and autos have only recently become legal to carry here in Ohio. So up until, again, quite recently, Protech really hasn't been on my radar. But they do make some manuals, and they have made big waves in this segment in the last year with the 2020 release of the Malibu. Now, in 2020, the Malibu received all the accolades there were to give last year. Most of the big YouTube reviewers got them, hyped them up, and as a result, the Malibu quickly became unobtainium. So when the opportunity to acquire one came up late in June of this year, just a few weeks ago, I jumped on the opportunity, not having owned a Protech before and having read and heard so much about the Malibu. I was really both excited and curious. So let me go ahead and kind of jump into my review here. Starting with the packaging, again, go back to my unboxing video if you'd like to take a look at that. I will say that I liked it, but I don't love it. It's quality packaging to be sure, and it's better than what other manufacturers put out. I think most in the knife enthusiast community would prefer a zipper pouch, which has more long-term utility than a box, which just gets either thrown away or tossed in a drawer. But again, the packaging is certainly not bad at all, particularly for this price point. Now, in terms of the knife itself, I definitely understand why it's become so popular so quickly. It really is a fantastic EDC knife, and I definitely would classify this as primarily EDC in terms of the use case. While it certainly could be used defensively, I just don't think it's designed to primarily be a defensive knife. The reason being is that it's just a bit too small, and the ergonomics, while quite good from an EDC perspective, aren't ideal for defensive purposes. These aluminum handle scales are just a little slick in that regard. Not really any jimping up here. Again, it's just not designed, I think, for that particular use. Now, in terms of a benchmark for comparison, if you're familiar with the Benchmade bug out, and who in the EDC community isn't, both knives have a blade length of about 3.25 inches and are similarly priced, and the Malibu is only slightly heavier than the bug out at about 3.17 ounces according to my scale. Now, where the bug out is an axis lock knife with thumb studs, the Malibu is a button lock flipper with an exceptionally smooth deployment action, and it feels like it actually has a real detent, which is somewhat unique among button lock knives. It really does fire out authoritatively and has nearly no resistance when closing, as long as that button is depressed. If you release it, then you do get resistance and friction. Now, this particular example does have aluminum handle scales, as well as this, I believe, aluminum backspacer. Now, there are some more rare examples out there with milled titanium scales, anodized, and they exhibit quite a bit more embellishment. As I understand it, Protech will soon be releasing a production version of the Malibu with titanium handle scales. And that kind of would be my preference. While a bit heavier than aluminum, I normally prefer titanium over aluminum handle scales. Again, that's just a personal preference. Now, the version I did select, and there are different versions of the Malibu that are out there, but the version I selected is entirely blacked out with DLC coating. I will say, in the first day that I owned this, it developed a quote-unquote snail trail on the handle scale. You're probably not going to be able to see it. It's definitely not extreme, but it is there. So I was a little bit disappointed. Those of you in the hard use community who feel compelled to tell everyone out there how they should use their own knives and abuse their knives probably won't care, since, if the internet is to be believed, you drag your entire knife collection tied behind your vehicle on a daily basis because you're just that cool. However, those of us not members of that particular segment of knifedom should know that the DLC coating, can and will show wear. Now, the blade on the Malibu is composed of American-made CPM 20CV, which is a near chemical match to Bowler M390. An American-made knife like the Protech Malibu really does deserve an American-made knife steel. I like it. I like that a lot. I also like that the blade is completely austere and devoid of any billboarding at all. If you look on the spine, you will see that the knife is marked, Protech banding there, and it does show the steel demarcation of CPM 20 CV. So pretty nifty. I like that a lot. Really makes the knife look that much more classy, I believe. Now, the Malibu comes in two different blade configurations. I chose this reverse Tanto almost purely on aesthetic considerations. It just looks really cool and unique, in my opinion. This blade is extremely thin behind the edge, and it is super sharp. Again, great for most EDC tasks. Now, EDC fans will also like the deep carry pocket clip that's on the Malibu, and do note that it has recessed screws that are, again, recessed into the handle to secure that deep carry pocket clip. You can only mount it on one side, so this may not be the most lefty-friendly knife from a carry perspective, but I do admire the recessed screws. I think that will definitely be easier on your pants. Won't tear up your pants that way. Really well done clip. I like that a lot. So great, again, great design choice on this clip. Now, really it would be no stretch or exaggeration to say that the Protech Malibu was quite, nearly the 2020 production knife of the year, or at least the 2020 darling knife of YouTube. And it really is a fantastic knife, and value priced, in my opinion, at around the low to mid $200 range, again, depending on the configuration that you get. I think this particular version is on the more expensive side at about $220, I believe. And again, I think it deserves all the accolades and adoration it received. This is a fantastic knife. Unfortunately, the knife really hasn't made a love connection with me, and it's already been sold to one of my Instagram followers. Why? If it's such a great knife, why would I, sell it? Well, fans of Through My Lens know that I maintain a pretty small collection of around only 10 knives. So, when one knife comes in most cases, one has to go. Again, just because I don't like to have a million knives in my rotation, I don't feel like I get the use that I want out of any one knife. So again, I keep pretty small numbers. And as good as this Protech Malibu is, it's really just not enough of what I value in terms of features and specifications to kick another knife out of my collection. Now, in most cases, I tend to prefer a knife not less than 3.5 inches in blade length. In those somewhat rare instances when I need something thin, light, in that EDC sized knife segment, I already have this Shirogorov Hation Zero. Again, this is previously reviewed here on my channel. This is kind of like my my thin light dress knife, and it's I love my Hatian Zero. That's certainly not Malibu's fault, the Malibu's fault in the least. It really is a great knife. And again, I highly recommend it. And I'm so pleased that I finally have had the opportunity to, sample Protech's work as an American manufacturer and to be able to get my hands on a coveted Protech Malibu. Well, there you have it. There is my review of the Protech Malibu. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. God bless. We'll see you in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this production from the Through My Lens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out Through My Lens at www.throughmylens.com.